Go. Welcome to the December 14th version of the Kubernetes SIG CLI bi-weekly meeting. I'm Sean Sullivan. I'm your host today. We have a very small agenda. I'll get directly into the announcements. So we were able to get the version 126 named Electrifying version of Kubernetes released last Friday. Took a couple extra days, but that was released. And I haven't seen or heard of the new 127 release dates. And if we do get them, we'll add them to this agenda. So I was hoping to get feedback from you, the SIG CLIers, on whether or not we should cancel the next meeting, which is in the middle of the holidays.
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of that. I know that the attendance will be very small from the past, so.
I agree as well.
Okay, great. So I'll say that that's passed. If anyone, let me ask if anyone has any problem with that and would like to have the next meeting. Okay, let's say that the motion is passed. If there's any other discussion on it, please, let's do it on Slack. If that is the case, then the next meeting will be the 11th of January of next year. So this short meeting will be our last get together for SIG CLI in 2022. And so this next part is where we're going to welcome new members. And I'm gonna have a look at our participants to see if I don't. There's a couple of names that, or at least one name which I haven't heard of before. If there's anybody who would like to introduce themselves to the SIG CLI and meet your SIG CLI colleagues, now's the time. This is voluntary. If you don't want to do it, that's fine.
Hey,
Okay.
here, sorry.
Go ahead.
Here, I met you guys at KubeCon. I've been to once before, but I haven't really introduced myself. Moshe, based in Atlanta, Georgia. Work for SISD currently. Happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Moshe. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, great. So is there anyone else who would like to introduce themselves? If not, we could move on to the sub-project and KEP updates. Are there any updates for sub-projects or KEPs?
I could just give a quick one for customize. I mentioned before that we're targeting a 5.0 release for our next one. There is a lot that we're trying to get in there, so we're going to discuss later today whether or not we think we can do that before the holidays or we'll push after. The more important thing is to get in everything that we're targeting. So we're gonna make that decision later today.
Great, thank you. Is there anything else on any KEPs or sub-projects we'd like to update?
I guess I could also mention, we talked about this at KubeCon as a SIG, the initiative that Sean and I presented about to improve pruning. I've been working on the KEP for that with Justin Santa Barbara, and we've been making some good progress. It's not quite ready to present yet, but it will definitely be ready by the next meeting.
Great. Are there any other KEP updates or sub-project updates? So I put one quick item on, if we move on to the open discussion, which was just to point out what we had gotten into the V126 release. And so I mentioned the aggregated discovery. So discovery, as we've mentioned many times in our meetings, has been a kind of sore point for kube control and for all clients in the number of discovery requests, as well as the fact that we were downloading the same information multiple times. And that has been fixed. So there are now only 2 downloads. There's one at /API and one at /APIs, which download the endpoints. And they also use HTTP e-tags. So they send a hash. The server is not going to, the server is going to send a 304 not modified if nothing has changed. So if you haven't added any CRDs, you'll never download the discovery again. And that actually is behind a feature flag. So it's actually not going to be easy to get to that feature for this release unless you enable that alpha feature, but you can play around with it, and then it'll be beta for 127. It'll be on by default for the next release. And so that's the link to the KEP. So is there anything else anybody wants to mention that was included in the 126 release?
Yeah, we also got in the alpha for OpenAPI v3 based kubectl explain. So that's pretty cool. I'll paste the KEP in the chat.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. In fact, we're cleaning up kube control to in all places use v3, and right now there's been some refactors. So I forgot to mention the code freeze has ended when we released, and so as most of us already know, we can get our code in, and there's been a few submissions to refactor to get v3. Get ready for OpenAPI v3 in kube control throughout kube control. And just to mention, the OpenAPI v3 is more expressive than OpenAPI v2. And so that's one of the reasons why we're making these changes. Is there anything else anybody would like to mention that got into the V126? Okay, well, it looks like we'll get 50 minutes back. As we had mentioned, I think off camera, we have resolved to cancel meetings that do not have anything in the agenda a day before. And as we've also mentioned, next meeting is canceled, and we will see all of us again on January 11th of 2023. So enjoy the holidays and have a happy new year.